Hey everyone, my name is Lauren. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a video about why the crystal ball is the symbol of psychics. I love the crystal ball emoji. I use it all the time with some of my psychic work. But I started to think about why was the crystal ball such the symbol of psychics? And I think a lot of people don't know why, and so I want to dive into that. So you've probably seen a lot of stock photos of psychics with crystal balls. It's kind of like the thing that you identify with psychics. And I think there's some bad connotations around it, but there's also some truth to it, surprisingly. So to really understand this, you have to understand what scrying is. Now, a lot of what I teach is relying on your psychic ability, relying on your clairs to get psychic information, but there are also physical tools that you can use to get psychic information, like pendulums, like scrying bowls. And so a scrying bowl is most often a black bowl that you use and you look into to receive psychic information. Now, when I was learning how to use scrying, the scrying technique, my mentor at the Aspen program for psychic development, she taught us to just use black pieces of felt or white pieces of paper. The white, for some reason, worked better for me. Black worked better for some other students in our class. It was really interesting to see the difference. But again, what you want to do is basically use this object to sort of relax your eyes and zone out on that piece of paper or that black piece of felt or that scrying bowl. And then what you do is you use your psychic ability, you ask a question, and then you're using your visual sense, not your psychic sense, but your actual visual sense to see if you can see anything that happens or to see if you can get any information on the question that you're asking. So scrying can work in two ways. You can either very literally see something on the piece of paper, or you can sort of zone out and you sort of get some peripheral vision stuff going on. That's how it worked for me. Some people really liked using this technique because they could look at the black piece of felt and they felt like they could actually see things move. And so this is where the crystal ball comes into play. It was very often used for the same effect. And basically you have the crystal ball, you stare into it, and you use it to see any images. So I think the crystal ball was definitely a little more used in the spiritualism movement. You don't see it very much anymore, and I think it's because of the bad connotation that media has put around it. And so a lot of us psychics don't use it as much because it kind of generates this feeling of distrust because they're like, oh, they're looking into a crystal ball. But it's a valid technique that is used. It's called scrying. More often you'll see psychics now use scrying bowls, but there are definitely some psychics that use crystal balls. Personally, scrying did not work for me. I have a very hard time with a focus on an object. Even when I did like a candle meditation or we used a scrying bowl or any of this, my eyes sort of need to wander and zone out. And I found that when I focused on something, it just didn't work for me. And I was focusing too much on the actual object and not receiving psychic information. Whereas other people really need their mind to calm down and they really need a focal point to focus on so that they can receive psychic information. So try it out. It might not work for you. It may work for you. Like all psychic tools, I say pick and choose what works for you because there's so many different ones out there and sometimes they just don't work. Maybe it just doesn't work to your clair strengths. So I say try everything so at least you know if it works for you, and if not, don't worry. I love debunking stereotypes, debunking myths around the psychic ability, and I think that there's a lot of information out there that is incorrect about psychics, so I'm all about using my platform to make sure that we're spreading the correct message about psychics and how we do what we do. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Do you have more questions about how psychics do what they do or just anything about psychics? Leave it in the comments below. I'd love to answer your questions and hopefully see you guys next time. So remember, at the end of the day, to always trust your intuition.